This is BBM Beesmas quest, and it's every bee swarm player's worst nightmare. Anyone that plays the game knows that it's one of the most challenging parts of the entire Beesmas update. So that's why in this video, I'm going to give you guys a step-by-step guide on how to complete every single part of BBM Beesmas quest, as I know it's definitely a challenge, and I want as much people as possible to be able to complete it. Also, I've spent so many hours making these videos for you guys, especially researching the best ways to complete this quest. So if I can spend hours making these videos for you guys, then you guys can take just a few seconds and subscribe. It really helps out a lot. And with that said, this is the most efficient way on how to complete BBM Beesmas quest in 2023. Okay, so as you guys can see, I currently have the quest on the side of my screen right here, just so we can reference it. Now, starting off with the honey, that's honestly pretty straightforward. You can honestly just macro that. And the same thing goes for the dandelion field pollen, the stump field pollen, and the mushroom field pollen. All you really have to do is either place down a planter of plenty or a petal planter, or really just macro through it all. It's honestly not that hard. Now, things actually begin to get hard once you reach pollen at hive. Now, you need almost 1 trillion pollen at your hive converted. And for blue hives, this is really easy, but for anyone else, it's going to be a big challenge, as blue hives easily get balloons so they can convert, but not so much for the red and white hives. So if you are a red hive or a white hive, best thing I suggest is putting a lot of buoyant bees in your hive and definitely macroing with that, or actually just grinding. And then second of all, while you're doing your boosting for the honey portion of the quest, I recommend that you use your balloons if you can. Specifically these balloons, not really the black balloon, because the white, red, and pink balloons aren't that hard to get anymore, what with the Robo party rewarding them and whatnot, and same with the Robo challenge. Now, next is the motivating nectar. Now, this is an absolute beast, because 13 days of motivating nectar is seriously a lot, and for starters, I would not recommend using your motivating vials, as even if you had all 10, that would only get you 2 days out of your 13 days that you actually need, which is why first of all, obviously you should be collecting Dapper Bear Sambivore as often as possible, as it does reward a few hours of nectar, but mainly what you want to be doing is macroing nectars. That's the best way you do this. Just use Natro macro. And if you don't have macro, I linked a video on it in the description on how to get it, but basically you're just going to want to macro motivating nectar, and that's it. And if you're not going to use macro, then basically place your planters in spider, stump, and rose, just so that way you can AFK in there and get as much motivating nectar as possibly possible. After that is popping 55,000 bubbles. I actually don't recommend you put a bunch of tadpole bees in your hive. There's a much easier option, which is basically just macroing with a bunch of blue hives. But if you don't have access to that, then yes, you're gonna have to put some tadpole bees in your hive, so that way you can get these bubbles. After that is the caustic waxes. This isn't really challenging, it's just really painful to do, because you're gonna have to waste over 31 caustic waxes on your bee quips. And then as for the 55 common bees in the Robo Bear challenge, this is actually a lot tougher than you think if you just go with your normal hive. So what you're gonna have to do for this part of the quest is just stick a few extra basic bees in your hive, just so that way you can choose them in the Robo challenge. Now after that is 349 puff shrooms and pumpkin patch. If you're gonna do this, then just do the 15 strat zone for the puff shrooms. If you're blue hive, it might be a little harder, but it's pretty simple. You're just gonna find people online to do puff shrooms with, or you can do it solo if you want to go that route, and then just farm the puff shrooms in pumpkin. Now then there's Robo party blessing. Now there is honestly a lot that you can do to complete this quest, and I personally don't want to have to explain it all. In simple words, you just want to go on Discord servers and ping people with your Robo parties, and just do a heck ton of Robo parties with a bunch of random people while summoning yours as well, just so that way you can get as much Robo party blessing as possible. If you want a more in-depth tutorial, I linked a video to that down in the description. And then the same thing also goes for completing rank 29 of the Robo party cake. Now you have to use the royal jelly dispenser 101 times, but before you think this is that crazy, just keep this in mind. First of all, this is not the first thing you want to do. When you actually get this quest in the first place, don't immediately go buy these royal jellies, because there's a slight chance that you won't finish the BBM quest, and you want to make sure that if you don't finish it, that you didn't waste 606 tickets trying to complete it. So I actually recommend saving this step for last and making sure that you are actually 100% going to be completing the quest before you buy all of these 101 royal jellies. And don't worry, because BBM's quest actually rewards you the 606 tickets back that you use. The next part is pretty straightforward. Basically, you just need to be taking damage from your coconut crab, from your commando chick, and also from stick bug. Make sure that you have the coconut canister if you can get it. because the immunity that you get from Coco Shield will definitely give you some extra hits. As for stick bug traps, just remember to grind your stick bugs, and for the cog turrets projection, you're just going to use the same method you used earlier in the video for farming your Robo party. And then some quick tips for the next ones where you have to get damaged by other mobs. Just make sure that you have to summon your snow bear as often as possible because the cooldown's an hour and a half, and you want to make sure you're always doing your snow bear. For Windy Bee, just donate a star jelly, and that pretty much guarantees that you're going to summon a Windy Bee in one of the fields. As for Vicious Bee, just join the Speedrun Stingers Discord, link in the description for that, by the way. And for Mosquitoes, just grind a heck ton of Robo challenge. And the rest of the quest after that is pretty much just straightforward. So definitely make sure to take notes on this video. I really hope this helped you guys out a lot. Hopefully we can do the Bumblebee Man quest, as we do only have 18 days left of Beesmas. And with that said, I will see you guys later.